Hi guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see, this is a bit of a different one. This is more of an interview style where I interview dancers that I think have like a valuable insight that I think could really help you guys. And this is Heidi.
Hi guys.
Heidi is actually my first Zouk teacher here in Sydney. And as you guys probably noticed, like I've been talking about Zouk a lot more recently, and she's very happy about this. And there's something different about Heidi that I noticed right away. But we'll get into this more. But like whenever I'm dancing with her, she always tells me to breathe. Like told me 100 times, I think, in one class.
Relax.
Just breathe. So that's definitely something really interesting that I think that's like way deeper than just like actual breathing. But yeah, I'm gonna just maybe let you introduce yourself. Maybe like tell us a bit more about your dancing background.
Hi, my name is Heidi. I've been dancing Zouk for about 11, 12 years, I think, going on now. So teaching for probably about 10 roughly, because I'm not sure anymore how long I've been teaching. But yeah, initially before dancing, I've done Taido, a martial art, which I feel like it has contributed a lot in the body awareness, the discipline, and kind of like just sticking to what you love and what you believe in, and just doing repetitions, and just kind of like mastery from there. And yeah, so with Zouk, haven't really done any salsa or bachata prior to that. So I just jumped straight into Zouk, and then has been doing a lot of additional side classes like tango, ballet, West Coast swing, just to
Right.
improve my Zouk.
Right,
basically.
yeah.
So the other way
Yeah.
around.
The other way
I
around.
know.
Like I took up Zouk because people tell me, oh, you like the sensual, you need to take up Zouk because that's where it came from. And so yeah, I was like, okay, I was a bit reluctant. Actually, my first response when people tell me, "Oh, you know what? That you should learn Zouk to improve your body movement." And then my first response was like, "Why don't I do more bachata essential? Why do I have to do Zouk?"
Because Bachata Essential took it from us. You can edit that too.
Nah, leave it in so people hate you.
There's a lot of things that has been adapted from Brazilian Zouk, and some of the like world renowned like bachata sensual dancers actually learn from like international Zouk teachers as well, just
Yeah.
to understand, I think, the safety and the smoothness and the softness of all of these body movements. But yes, let's just
It's very deep topic. It's very deep topic. We'll see if we get to that. But like so how did your dancing evolve like in a nutshell to where you are now, and what have you learned or maybe unlearned?
So initially, I've learned with I think about 4 different teachers, so 2 couples in Zouk, and then I start to travel and I start to expose myself to different style than Rio Zouk style that Sydney was having at that time. Mainly is Rio Zouk, but a little bit of a kind of like a lamba influence, but
Yep.
it's still like it's not the pure lambada as what we've seen a lot lately around all of the videos and all of the internationals that's traveling now. So then I traveled and I was exposed to a lot of different genres of Zouk, like the Neo Zouk, the actual lamba, like pure just lamba Zouk. Very confusing timing for me at that time. And yeah, and then gradually moving into Black Zouk, and then some flow and kind of like soul Zouk, and then the Branderson style, and then
Yes.
all of this softness and smoothness and creaminess and all of that
Yes,
buttery,
yes.
velvety stuff
My
that I really
favorite.
like too. Yeah, so I'm like, eventually all of that evolves to finding the one or maybe 2 genres that I really, really like, which is it's kind of like the hybrid of all of it all.
Right.
Yeah. So trying everything and then just finding out the ones that suits with your vibes or
Yeah.
my vibes in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
case. Yeah.
yeah.
And then you master it, and then I'm trying to master it, getting to know it more, and then giving it back now, just like because I believe in that and I dance it that way. I can dance the other ways too, but this is still my favorite way of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So one topic that I really want to explore is the breathing part, right? It's such a like, of course, if you don't breathe, you're gonna die, right? Like it's such a like a
Well, there's a limit.
like
There's a limit.
there's a limit,
Yeah.
right? Like it's so like it seems so artificial, like it's superficial, but then like the reason I like it is because when I was really into self development back then, breathing was like meditation and
Yeah,
breathing and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's so integral in like helping you stay in the moment. And like when it's translated to dancing, being in a moment
Yeah.
is like connection,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And like that's why I really like Zouk because of the connection.
Like, I think the way that I would like to point it out, everyone when they start learning anything, right? Any dancing, everyone will try to get it right. They're trying to focus on the movements and trying to focus on just get that part right. That
Yeah.
they're forgetting about the connection, they're forgetting about being present, they're forgetting about themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're just like so fixated on, oh, I need to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, kind of like it becomes a habit, because then all that we are trying to do is just to get it right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, through development, through like so many years of dancing, then I probably realized actually we never mentioned to anyone to breathe in class, like, you know, and do, like I'm breathing because I'm trying to just like making myself more calm, or kind of like just controlling, having a bit
Yeah.
more control, having a bit more steadiness. And then like, then again, meditations and all of this kind of just like understanding the body a little bit more. In martial art, we use a lot of breathing as well. We actually accentuate a lot of the breathing in and out and really voice it out,
Right,
like
yeah.
really having the sound of
Yeah.
the breathing.
Yeah.
Because that it actually is a mark for the body to start to prepare or to land or to soften, right? So again, I think I'm using a lot of martial art to then adapt it back to the dancing. Kind of actually like we need a lot of this in Zouk, and especially when I'm exposed more to like soul Zouk, flow Zouk, and all of this, I'm like, breathing is very, very important.
Yeah.
I'm doing it, but how do I do it? Because again, it was never be a focus on the
Yeah.
class, right?
Yeah.
It was never like, okay, breathe here, breathe there, don't forget to breathe. All we said is like, oh, you know, left foot, right foot, and then you're gonna turn here, you're gonna turn there. And then like, you know, and then once the focus becomes to make the body a bit more melty, a little bit more softer, then you're adding all of this extra information. Kind of actually you need to breathe a lot more, and we need to bring that awareness way early on to all of the beginners, if you know, if possible, whenever possible, because they need to get it from the start.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, as soon as possible, because then the dance will be a lot easier, rather than you know, rather than a textbook, rather than an army kind of like, you know, you move forward and back,
Yeah.
and it's kind of everyone's moving the same way. But then you can start just be present, like enjoy it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of like, yeah, my brain is thinking, but I'm like, oh, actually, like I'm not as tired, or I'm not as exhausted by the end of it, and it's kind of like, oh, it's actually enjoyable. I can go longer. I
Yeah,
can go for
yeah.
social longer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess also, other than obviously the connection and then sort of relaxing, it also adds like a layer of softness to the movement, because like when you breathe and then you release, that's when like the body is like most like you can mold the body the most when it's like relaxed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's it's an underrated thing, at least in the scene that we see now. Like it's a lot of like using your frame to force the movement rather
Yeah.
than unlocking that and then like molding the movement. That's right.
Excuse me. Um, not that, not whatever you guys
Recovering
think.
from COVID
Recovering
still.
already, but it's kind of like that leftover. Of course,
The leftover coughs.
it's gonna be a while. Yeah. Breathing helps.
Breathing, not breathing enough.
Or too much, is it? I'm not sure. So yeah, with breathing, there's a lot of different methods of breathing. Actually, like once you send me all of the list of what we're going to discuss today, I remembered when I went to Prague, I actually, my chiro actually suggested me to do a yoga lesson in in one of the studio there where they don't really speak English, but I now kind of like realize they actually focus on breathing most of the time, or prana, whatever you call it over
Prana
there.
yoga, I think
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
So I didn't know because everything was in Czech text. I actually literally don't know what happened. I just went in there and I literally just do it like, and I felt amazing because you felt the release that you never felt. So literally it's bringing the air all the way through your body, sometimes by force because you're forcing yourself to breathe in a certain way to kind of like, there's a fire breathing apparently because when I'm reading
Right.
on it again, there's like all of this just like heating up the body and kind of like, yeah, it was just really, really interesting because all the other yoga classes I've been,
Yeah.
it's just focusing a lot on the fluidity of the movement, but not actually just like, this is how you breathe. This is, you breathe from your left nostril. into
Right.
and then
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So the sensation feels very, very different. And then through meditations, and then you're learning to calm yourself, like calm your mind and calm your body. And then I explore it further by just what can we do more with breathing and how can we breathe basically? How
Right.
should we breathe?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you did the masterclass.
So yeah, now we're on to like the application,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
of breathing. Like, how do you recommend? Because obviously, like when you're in class, you have to look at the move and then try to replicate it. Like you're so in your head, you know. So, do you recommend practicing at home and then incorporating breathing at some point? Like,
I think breathing is like essential. Like
Of
you
course.
said. Breathing is essential, but sometimes we breathe, but we not purposely or kind of like intentionally just breathe for the body. So I think a good exercise where we all can do at home, maybe before sleeps, where that will be the easiest because you're already in bed, you're already ready to get relaxed, right? It's just trying to breathe throughout the whole body. And gradually kind of like slowly putting yourself to sleep by just relaxing every single line or segments of the body, like from your legs, from your feet, your knees, like your legs, your back. And yeah, hopefully by the end of it you'll fall asleep, but it's kind of like sending the air throughout the whole body and then kind of like felt the sensations of when the air's coming in and coming out.
right. Being
How it
really
feels,
mindful of
yeah.
that. Yeah. Like when you say throughout the body, do you feel like are you saying that when you inhale and then you kind of like breathe as deeply as possible and then kind of like feel the whole
Feel the
way?
feel the sensation. If you can actually feel how far it goes through your legs,
Yeah.
maybe it's the sensation of the blood rush
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it feels like, oh, okay, I can actually feel that I'm wiggling my toes like purposely, not
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's just like a reaction.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
intentionally trying to feel all the connections within your body through the breathing, through just kind of like relaxing everything into it.
Yeah.
And then kind of like trying to deactivate or just like relaxing or activate in the morning if you want to try to do it. Not
Right.
Just like, oh,
Yeah.
alarm on, jump
Yeah.
off the bed, straight away getting ready.
Usually I don't have the time to do that because I'll be rushing. But one thing that I noticed, I did this once. I mean, I do this, but this is I recorded this once. Is I do like a lot of this breathing when I'm shadow dancing, when I'm dancing by myself. So when I'm dancing at home by myself, I'll put in the AirPods and then I randomly one time just kind of recorded myself just to like check on my moves, see if there's anything that I should be, fixing. And I noticed like it's so like I put my camera kind of far away so that I couldn't get the whole view. But I noticed when I was replaying the video that I was breathing so loud. Like the breathing was so like audible. Like I was like in certain movements like 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 a lot of that, and I didn't realize. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool actually. Whenever I'm breathing, like the movements become like bigger, and I think like I just like, especially in a connected like when it's like really close embrace, those breathings, like the just little chest movements, the other one can feel as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, through the breathing, I think there's a lot of layers into the breathing, I think, that you can use, or what I've been using in dancing or the way that I dance. Like the basic stuff will be like just utilizing or knowing your own body, knowing how you breathe, knowing the pattern that you're breathing. Because like when we go to work, when we try to catch a bus, or when you're driving, like just pay notice on like how you actually breathing at that time. Because normally when you're on autopilot, like you're also on autopilot on the breathing, right?
Yeah.
So then try to bring it back and like, oh, I'm gonna intentionally breathe longer or shorter. Like when you're running, you will be like breathing a little bit shorter. So
Yeah.
you're trying to like pay attention on the pattern of your breathing.
Yeah.
And what activities that you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then gradually when you dance, you try to apply that kind of same awareness. Oh, when I dance, most of the time people don't breathe. Like trying to pay attention if you're not breathing as well. Because when you're aware, then you can fix it, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's bringing that awareness, like, are you actually breathing? How do you breathe in the movement, or when? Because sometimes if you hold your breath, when do you feel like you need to breathe, or is it just autopilot?
Yeah.
And gradually trying to make it a choice for you to actually breathe.
Right. Yeah. It can intentionally not breathe to create something.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very like there's so much that you can do. That's why like in Zouk, or at least in Bachata, the first part of the song, like this is like not much opportunity because the structure of the song is very different. But like the beginning of the song, or like Zouk, like if it's not too fast, I feel like there's like a lot of opportunity for you to just really play with these things. You don't even have to do anything, you know. Don't have to even do the boom chick chick, right? You can just like
just stay static, weight shift, weight shift, and then
just
breathing.
Stay there, and then like breathing. Maybe start to like synchronize the breathing with the movement, or maybe not breathe for a couple of seconds, you know.
Yeah, we were trying to cover this a little bit on the masterclass by like, you know, the first part is just like being aware with your breathing, melting into the ground, the grounding, and then connecting with your partner. Because you can do it solo, but when you connecting with a partner, especially as leads, it's going to be a little bit different, because you're trying to feel how they breathe as well.
Yeah.
And you're trying to kind of like influence when to breathe, when to relax. Because if you relax, then your partner can be relaxed too.
Yeah.
If you can sense that they're not relaxed, then you can feel, oh, how do I make my body relax? And you can try to apply it if that's going to work the same way.
Right.
Otherwise, you have to find a different way and figure out how is their body moves or react.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of awareness, a lot of kind of like feeling of kind of like how the body reacted through these kind of like breathing exercises and all of that.
Yeah.
And then how that affected their grounding as well. Because like, yeah, it does affect in a lot of things, like, you know, how you shift your weight, how you tense up your body, how you play with all of this energy shift internally inside the body, the micro movements that you were mentioning as well. It's all related to like, if I can kind of like invite or influence the way that they breathe through the skin, or like body contact, like not squeezing, not like really forcing your way in, that will be like perfect, because it will be like the gentlest thing, the fluffiest thing. And it's kind of like, and then you just being there together. And I had like amazing dance, just doing like basic stuff on a close hold, like for many songs,
Right.
and then literally just like nothing fancy. It's just like very relaxing, very smooth. It's just very connected, but it's a lot of that breathing, a lot of that kind of like getting back into your body, and just don't worry too much about the other patterns. Sometimes as
Yeah.
leads, I think we also worry that, oh my God, they might be
boring.
bored.
Yeah.
They might
Yeah.
be bored. Like, oh, they might want us to do something fancy. But a lot of the times it's like, it's the sensations, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The sensations. It's like even though it's the same sort of pattern, if you just if you go you do something simple and then you go to like a certain pattern and then you do other simple things and then you go back to that pattern because of the way you combine it with the music, the timing and everything, it could feel different. You know, I understood that theoretically. But then when we danced at your master class, I was like, wow, okay, like that sort of solidified it as well. So like, I think for leads, it's important to maybe learn how to follow, or maybe just like, you know, grab your favorite Zouk leader who can breathe, and then ask them to ask them to lead, and then I think it will really help you understand that you don't have to do all these crazy things all the time. It's not salsa.
I think it's a challenge for the follower as well, because I think a lot of followers always anticipating, oh, what's next, or what should we be doing, or like, and then it's very hard to have that stillness. It's very hard to just like, okay, there's nothing else. Let's just like chill and let's just like, you know, just be there for each other and just like enjoy the moment of just that breathing, the weight shift. It's very, very hard actually for a lot of followers, because they're like, again, fancy stuff. Oh my God, head movements and all of this like hair whips and all of that stuff. And then the simplest enjoyment is literally just be present in your body, feeling that the grounding, like internally that you're grounded and your partner is there with you. And it's just the simplest thing. But sometimes we are in our heads like, oh my God, it might be like, we might be in this hole for too long. It's only been 30 seconds, but it might be for too long. And then the follower's like, oh my God, did I miss something that he did not move anywhere? You know, it's that kind of like chatters in your mind. Right. It does take a while to, I think, to just
to let go,
get out of the habits.
Yeah. I think it's you know, it should be normalized to like dance 4 or 5 songs in a row, like, because sometimes like the first 2 songs, right, like this is, I tell my class this, so we were just doing, we did this like basic step tap because it's step tap, but we just did step tap, but kind of like moving the shoulders a little bit, and then some of them were like a bit confused, like, oh, this is too easy. And then I'm like, yeah, it is easy, but like it serves 2 purposes actually, because when like, and this happens 99% of the time, like I see this, like every time a girl just finished dancing with someone, they're like really like tense, anxious, like almost sometimes like shaking. And then like the purpose of just like doing the basic is to relax them, so that they're like, oh, thank God. Like it's not simple. Something crazy anymore. You know, I don't have to like squeeze my glutes so that my back doesn't hurt. It's really, really nice feeling just to kind of relax them. And then once we're both relaxed, we have that opportunity to kind of like play with like tiny movements, tiny simple movements.
I think it's also like a lot of the time, right? Again, like relating this to martial art, where you are very aware with your body up to the point where when you absorb the impact of someone kicking you, you know, if you miss the timing to absorb it, you will get hurt, right? So you understand your body well enough when and what to protect. So that awareness doesn't really come that easy. And yes, no, you don't. I didn't say that you have to get beaten up to to get there. Like, you know, do martial art, get beaten up so you have body awareness. No, but through breathing, you can also have this. You cannot be aware. It's like, oh, my lower back feels a bit today, or like if you feel any pains on your legs, like you're trying to use the breathing to help you relax it a little bit, so you can just not overusing the wrong muscles or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the wrong tension.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make it worse. But COVID. Yeah, but then like this is not how to say it. I'm going to kind of like bring it to the follows as well. This is very hard for the follows to voice it out when they're gonna get hurt or if they feel pain or anything, because sometimes we're not aware with what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So just bringing that in the masterclass, we were bringing that awareness, like you need to feel your body. You need to say something if something don't feel right, or if you're in pain, or if you're anything, because through the breathing, you're actually scanning your body as well.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you're partnering up as a leader, you are also scanning the body of the followers. So you kind of like, oh, I feel like she's tensing up in some part.
Yeah.
What is happening there, right? Rather
Yeah.
than verbally asking them, which you can too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would be nice if just like gently, just kind of like being there for each other and supporting each other. And then it's kind of like giving that safe space that the followers kind of like, actually, I feel safe enough so I can actually voice it out. Or you just feel safe enough so you can ask, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to take care and like, have good dance and like, have a very good, enjoyable, safe dance together.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like everything is related to something very simple like breathing.
Yeah. Also, just on that note as well, like when you said you're also scanning your body, I feel like it's so enjoyable for yourself even. Like I remember when I was doing like this like breathing thing, like a course, when I really brought to attention like my own body, like at the time you were like lying down and then like on the mat, like my back, I feel my back against the mat, when I sort of feel like the weight of my hand, like
Kind
that,
of gravity
that's kind of
sucks
like
you in.
like I was actually felt energized because like, wow, I feel really, I don't know what the feeling is, but like I feel super present. And then being super present really energizes you. And like a lot of the participants there, they felt the same way, like they were like, wow, like this is really different when you're living present. Because
we all like, a lot of us, or most of us, are just kind of like surviving most of the time, because we have chores, we have work to do, we have somewhere to be, events to go to, like we forgot
class to teach. No, I'm very present when I'm teaching.
Like, it's just all becomes autopilot that you kind of like, sometimes there's schedule that you have to do that you just kind of like, oh, maybe I need the time out, or maybe I need to just like be late, or something like that, just for yourself. It's kind of like, I think it becomes everyone's focus now after COVID and lockdown. Mental health, self-help, self-care, everything, right? So then it's all correlated. Then the awareness are more kind of like, it's more open now for us to have that awareness. Like these issues probably, or this kind of breathing aspect as well, has already always been there, but now since like all of the awareness shifted, then everyone's more open into it, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, to take care of ourselves we have to be present. To be present, then you have to know your body, know how you feel, and then you will know maybe how other people feel, especially with partner dancing. So I don't know.
So I don't know where you are in your dancing, but I feel like, why wouldn't you want to do this breathing like dancing thing? Like, and not only it feels good for you, it feels good for the other person that you're dancing with. And then the movement is so much more smooth, like so like looks even more like buttery soft, and like it's just like heaven on earth.
He's very like intoxicated right now.
So
when we can mold.
Like we're not trying to convince you to do the breathing, but like if you don't convince yourself after this video that breathing is good, then
breathing is good for you in general.
in general, and you need to amplify it a little bit.
I think and then like just to add extra advanced notes as well, like with breathing you can start to disassociate as well. So when you learn to activate, you can learn to deactivate as well.
Right.
So you can, I think I mentioned in the class somewhere, like you can have the same reaction as a follower or as a leader, just to sense that too. You can have the same reaction as what you usually do, but you use less of the muscles or the joints that you activate.
Right.
And through the breathing, it will happen, or it's possible to happen. Because then you know your body well, that you don't use what's not necessary anymore.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
then, like, why would I exhaust myself if I can use less? Kind of the idea. And for leaders, kind of like the more relaxed your follower is, the more easier you throw themselves into any movements. The more easier, because then they will be in that state where it's almost like not intoxicated, but almost half asleep, kind of like really the body is just like moldable enough.
Yeah.
So they're not panicking with any of difficult or moves that, complicated moves
Yeah.
that they
yeah.
can do, but usually they tense up. But when they're in that state, it's just a lot easier, and because you present together, it's a lot easier to be there for each other as well. So it's kind of like, it's not brainwashing. It's not brainwashing.
We're just telling you how much fun we're having,
Yeah.
Whether or not you want to adopt it, it's up to you, but you're missing out if you don't.
It's fun. It's fun. Brainwashing is fun.
All right. Another thing that's like, see, the thing with you is like, there's like certain things that like is like very striking.
Okay.
And that's the first thing, that the breathing
martial
thing. I was like,
artist.
okay, like the whole aura about the breathing. I think she like understands it well. And also the other thing is styling.
Okay.
And she
this
hates
topic.
that word styling
Yes.
because to her it's not styling.
I just felt, I think from what I can see, right, from a lot of different dance style, I think it's a little bit, for me, don't take it personally, it's just my opinion, it's a little bit excessive and it's a little bit like forced sometimes.
Yeah, like salsa.
I did not say that. Okay, I did not say that. I did not say what style, who's doing what, but I just
It's
felt
okay.
like,
I'll take all the hate.
I just felt like whenever that I dance, styling is my focus. The flow of the energy and the flow of the intention is always my focus.
Right.
So if I need to offset something because I might lose balance, then I'll use my arm, or I use my shoulder, or I use the way that I look tilting to left or to the right.
Right.
Just to make it easier for the rest of the body to come back into the momentum or the connection.
Yep.
So yes.
So to kind of like visualize it, to help people visualize it, you don't do this out of nowhere.
No.
Like this is styling. You don't
like
do that out of
I'm
nowhere.
sitting down and I'm like doing
yeah.
all of this, like.
So that's
like
styling.
forced.
What you're doing is you're receiving energy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're using like those movements to balance. Is that what you're thinking
Or
of?
connecting all of the movements. Like we were talking earlier about like, you can activate. Through the breathing, you can activate like certain part of the body.
Right.
And you can choose to not as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm doing an open, like an elastic open to the
Yeah.
side, then I can actually extend the open all the way to my arm.
Right.
When I finish with my weight shift, because when I finish, all of the energy actually going outwards.
Yeah.
Which my arm then kind of like accentuate the directions of the energy.
Yeah.
And then when the leader is bringing me back, the first thing that come back will be the hand, because that's the last thing and the last part of the flow is going, and that's the first thing that then be affected before it calls wrapping into everything else.
Right. Right.
So then I can direct it open, I can direct it upwards, or I can just play around with waving it around, just
Right,
like
right.
playing in water or
It's mostly just receiving that energy and then kind of like helping that extend, maybe even like molding it a little bit, but it's not like out of nowhere, like you all of a sudden do something, right? Like
You've never seen me live
like
streaming.
that. Like the like yeah. Okay, yeah.
Unless if I'm just joking around and just kind of like, hey.
Yeah. So, okay, so there's like okay, so yeah, obviously you can style, right? Like you obviously if you want to style.
It's just
like,
it's just very, how to say it, made up, I think.
Right,
It's just
yeah.
like it just doesn't make sense for the body flow, like the energy flow. It for me it doesn't make sense because I'm like, why am I doing extra if I can do less?
yeah.
That understanding.
Yeah, I think it's because like you like that just kind of like the continuous energy. You make everything connect, like make it natural rather than like forced, right? So obviously not really for leads, but like how do you start understanding this so you can incorporate it into your movements?
I think eventually, like if it's talking about dance techniques, it's just feeling where the momentum is going in your body, right? And we're gonna talk about techniques now.
Okay.
We can talk about this for hours.
I'm ready.
Just let me know when I need to like stop. A lot of the times, like I'm gonna talk this about followers more now because I felt like this is, I think, usually where it is. We are more staying centered because we need to, how to say it, we need to save ourselves and we shouldn't go over.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes like, oh, we don't have enough time to go to the next movement, so we need to stay like just in the middle. But
Right.
that means we actually never completed the movement.
Yep.
Which then this will be your focus. If you want to feel where the flow is going, you go all the way.
Right.
And of course, you're gonna train this with any leaders that knows what you intending to do.
Yeah.
Right? So you can tell them, look, I'm gonna go way over than usual, but it's just for me to explore where is this actually going, if it's going all the way. Right? So what the followers will ask is the support. I just need a support, so if I'm about to fall off, please catch me.
Right.
Because that will be the case. If you go all the way and you don't know, or there's nothing else stopping you, you will fall, or you might just have to keep taking a step to the
Right.
side.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just exploring that. What's the maximum actually? What's the maximum of where is this going? Because most of the time you are centered, so you're not sure how far you can go and what's your limit. So you're exploring that limit within yourself. Even if you do it solo as well, you can do that too. Because if you do it solo, then you just take the steps.
Right.
You don't fall to the ground unless if you want to learn to fall. Your flow is your best friend. Yes.
I think that's more for like soccer players who don't learn how to dive.
Falling down. It's like, falling down. But yeah, then you start to use the extensions of your arm frame or your shoulder or pretty much the rotation of the body just to offset. So once you know how far that you can extend, then you kind of try to offset. Kind of trying to learn to offset and then kind of like unlearning your habit if you're staying centered.
Yeah, okay.
And then realizing it's like, oh, actually, I've been staying centered all this time, so I can actually go more.
Right.
In learning all of this, you still need to respect the leaders as well. So you can't just, oh, the leader's stopping me, but I want to go
Right, yeah.
further. So there's that balance of like just kind of like reacting and reciprocating what the leader's suggesting, but also letting yourself actually go all the way.
Right.
Because I felt this related to the leaders, because most of the leaders maybe don't know if the followers goes all the way on.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, like, what do the leaders do in helping the follow learn this concept, say with training?
I think being present, and when you know it's about to hit the limit, then you gradually kind of, it's the elastic concept from the frame. It's kind of like just before they go all the way, you kind of like pull a little bit just to create that limit.
Yeah.
But not too early. It's just seeing where the footwork is, and then before they go all the way and about to tip off with the rest of the body, you create that limit for them.
Right.
You can also look at their feet if you need to, because otherwise you can close your eyes too. You can close your eyes and actually feel it, because that will help more, because rather than looking, you're actually feeling.
Right.
Because a lot of the men styling now, you look away and then you kind of like offset,
I don't
offset the
do
photo.
men styling. I get it, like looking away. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look away and then look back. Look away and then look back.
Yeah.
Like then like yeah. Leaders like you can train yourself with like closing your eyes to just to feel your followers, the presence, the balance, the breathing. And it's kind of like training for both sides. The followers, just let yourself explore to the maximum
Yeah.
that you can go. I did this training with Sunny like probably like a few years back.
Sunny is Heidi's teaching partner, by the way.
Hi, yes. Just some
Yes.
random name on Australia. Hi, Sunny. So it's literally when we start to explore more on the kind of like the Brandison, all of this flow, all of this kind of like really melty, creamy. But I felt like I want to explore to the most so he can feel and catch and redirect.
Yeah.
When he felt that by force, because now I'm going intentionally, I'm going more. It was very interesting because from the outside, I think I have someone commented watching it, saying kind of like, wow, that's a new style. It's kind of like, oh no, it's just normal dancing.
this?
I'm just going all the way.
Right,
Even like
yeah.
the boomerang, even like all of the inside turn, I'm going all the way to the maximum. Yes, he creating the impulse for me,
Yeah.
but I'm taking that impulse and going all the way. So if he's not stopping me, I'm not stopping.
Right.
It's kind of like that kind of training. So both of us are really aware. Kind of like I know when I'm being blocked or I'm being maneuvered. So rather than crashing, I'm learning to mold into it. So it's not rough for me as well. Then like jerky movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
and then for the leaders, you learning to like knowing. Oh wait, I don't want her to go that far.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna like trying to absorb and receive and redirect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise you will know when you missed it. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good training. But you might
Good
be very
training.
exhausted by the end of it because there's a lot of energy required, a lot of kind of like you pushing your body to the limit. So it's not relaxed anymore. It's
Yeah.
literally fully stretched. There's a lot more kind of like
You're
strength.
exploring
Yeah.
the boundaries and then you kind of exceeding it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're just seeing where you
I
can.
don't do this often. Like
Yeah, yeah.
probably like once a month is probably like
Right.
good training. Like once a month for like a good hour. Like you'll
Right.
probably be very exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like it requires a lot, and then you have to calm yourself down. Just have like good, nice, soft dance.
Yeah,
That's kind of
yeah,
like, so
yeah.
done, so done.
Take a bath after, play with your cat.
some
you know.
salt.
It's just like,
Dog.
that was traumatizing.
I think it's shocking for the both of us. Probably for me, it's more like, oh, actually, I can go that far, right? I think for the leaders, like, oh my god, you can go that far.
Right,
It's
yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
that. Kind
yeah.
of like, oh wow, like so. It's kind of like realization, like actually, when we dance, that was not that. So what was that then? Like, were you overcompensating for me, or am I just like blocking you or something like that? So it's kind of like bring another level of awareness. Kind of like, wait, so how are we doing this if you want to do this in a normal
Yeah.
dancing scenario?
Yeah. I
Without-
feel like this is like a higher level concept that, like has to be like within a safe environment as well with like a partner that you trust.
Yes. I'm not.
Otherwise-
Yes, Sunny. I did not say anything. That's Kevin saying it all.
No, it's a compliment to Sunny. That means she trusts Sunny.
Did not say that. For sure. Yes. Okay.
But yeah, like I guess it's like it's really about like learning your own body for the followers. Like circling back to like the whole not really styling, but you just kind of like compensating like a movement,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
making it flow. So yeah, it's something that you just gotta like practice.
I think also it's kind of like it's your choice too. If you don't want to go there, you don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Like if you just like happy with just like, oh, I'll prefer to stay centered and not tipping off balance, and you happy with where you're at, that's fine. But if you want to explore, I do suggest you do explore, because I think this shifted a lot of things with like what you know about your body, what you know about the limitations. And Also, then when the leader's kind of like telling you where to place your feet, you can tell them my body just don't go that way. You know, so it's
Right.
kind of like, because you know your body well, it's kind of like, I can't, my body actually can't do what you asked me to do, but you know, like you can have something to say, because like then I'm sorry, like that's not how my body works, but cool.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have injuries, you can always tell them. You feel secure enough to just be okay with like, look, you know, let's make it work for both of us, and just kind of like helping each other, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, for the leaders, hopefully eventually, once you kind of like getting into this more and more, you can be more aware with your own body, and the followers especially who you're dancing with, if they need more support, or if they need less, or you know, it's just making something magical happen with less effort. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
More effort in the beginning.
More effort in the beginning, but you know, like training, you put more effort, but so that you know when you're actually social dancing, that you know that you can just enjoy.
Yes, enjoy and fall asleep, and
And
it's
fall
like nice
asleep.
dancing.
It's
Yeah.
fluffy, buttery, melty dance.
I think the way that I measured if it's like a good success of like on this kind of like breathing and micro movement and softness, if your follower is falling asleep by the end of the dance, you did well.
That's the goal.
It's kind of like, oh, what? The dance is finished? But no, come back. You know, that's like great.
Exactly. So yeah. I guess so. On that note, we might wrap it up. But for people, how do they find you
So I'm currently teaching for Zouk Unity
in Sydney?
in Sydney. In Sydney. You can find me on my Facebook, Heidi
Yeah.
Anastasia, or Zouk Unity Facebook.
I'll
or,
put it on the link.
Yeah, or Zouk Unity dance on the website. And then there's 4 of us in there, and Sunny is there too,
Yep,
teaching with
Sunny.
me, and Jeff and Sarah. And yes, we are going to try to kind of like have more kind of like this material for our master classes and all of that, hopefully.
Yes.
Every quarter. So yeah, hopefully if people are keen enough and you know interested, then we can make it more regular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I really enjoyed. I've done one workshop, and I've really enjoyed it. Like it's just such a different experience. You know, it's not like move your hands like this, move your body like that. It's more like deeper concepts like this. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed that, please you know, give a like, subscribe to the channel, and also if you're in Sydney, come check out Zouk Unity.
And also Friday Zouk practice, I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, right, yeah, and like for Zookers in Sydney or in the area, you need to come to FZP, Friday Zouk practice.
I know, it's
Yes.
like acronyms.
all of the information will be in the description. But yeah, thank you so much, Heidi.
Thanks, Kev.
And we
I made
will
it.
see you in the next video.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.